Hello again, my little mathematicians. Today we're going to explore how to graph points in the coordinate plane and then also how to identify points that are already graphed and note what quadrant they're in. So as always, if you want to go ahead and give some a try yourself, pause the video, try it, and then unpause it and come back. For this first one, we're going to plot these points. Remember that the first point is the x value, and it tells you to either go to the right if it's positive or to the left if it's negative. And then the second one is the y coordinate, and it tells you to either go up if it's positive or down if it's negative. Okay, so right here for point J, it's 5, 10. So I'm going to go to the right 5, which is right between the 4 and the 6, and up 10. So that would be right here. And I'm going to label that point J. My next one, G, is to the left 6 and up 8. Okay, always double check. Negative 6, up 8 would be right there. And I'm going to label that a G. Okay, D, first value is left or right. Since it's negative, it's going to go left 8. And then the second one is up or down. Since it's negative, I'm going to go down 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's D. Okay, then we have A, which is to the left, since it's negative, 8, and then down, since it's negative, 1, and that's A. Okay, now again, we've done quite a few together, so why don't you try some yourself? So pause it, try it, and then come back and join us. Okay, so hopefully you went to the right 1 and up 9 and labeled that I. And then you went over 9, up nothing. So it's actually right on the axis right there. That's where F is. Then you went to the right 5, up nothing, and that was C. Okay, you went to the right 6, and then down, since it's negative, 9. And that would be H. Okay, negative 6, so to the left 6 and up nothing, so that would be E. Left 1, down 1, right there would be B. If you got all those right, congratulations. Okay, if not, let's maybe redeem ourselves and try these ones. Okay, so go left, left. I can tell my right from my left. Go to the right 7 and then up 10. And that would be A. And then to the left 6 and down 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 would be D. And then left 3 in between the 2 and the 4, and down 4. And then to the right 7, because it's positive. So right 7, down 9. That would be point J. And then over nothing. So I'm going to stay right here. And then the second one is up or down. So I'm going to go up 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so again, remember the first point is always on the x-axis. It tells you right or left. If it's positive, you go right. If it's negative, you go left. And then the second number is on the y-axis, and it tells you to go up or down. If it's positive, you go up. If it's negative, you go down. If it's 0, you just don't move anything. All right, so we left off with B. Now we're on E. So I'm going to go to the right 10 and up nothing. So I'm just going to stay right there on E. And then H, you're going to go left 4 and then down 9. That would be H. And then C is left 1 and up 10. F is right or left. Should go right 9 and up or down. Up, how many? 7. Right between the 6 and the 8. And finally, you go right 4 and then up 1, and that would be point I. Okay, so those are if they tell you to go ahead and graph those. Then these ones, they gave me the points, and now I have to tell what the coordinate value is. So A, that location is to the left, so it's negative, and it's even right there, -10, it told me, and then up at +2. Okay, so remember the right or left gets named first, then the up or down gets second. So B is right here. It went to the right 6 and up 10. C went to the left 8, so -8, and down at right here between the 2 and the 4, so that would be -3. D is to the left 8 and down also 8, so -8, -8. E went to the right this time, right here, 1, and down in between the 4 and the 6, so -5. F was to the right 2 and still down at -4. G is over here. It went left -7 and up to 8. H went to the right 2 and up that 5, right between the 4 and the 6. Okay, so again, in case you can't notice, it's really helpful that they have the numbers on here. So if you're told to ever graph and the numbers aren't on, maybe you might want to draw them in, so that way it makes it a lot easier for you to identify the points. And if you write big and you're like, they just get all crammed together, see how they named it every other space? And that way, if you like write too big, and that's why it's hard for you to label them, if you want to just label every other, then that still helps you label them faster. But also, like, you can just tell, oh, if it's between here, well, between 2 and 4 is the 3. Okay, so I is over here. It is over to the right at 8 and down 1, 2. And J over here is to the left in between 6 and 8, so 6, 7, 8, so that's -7. And down between 4 and 6 is 5, so -5. If you got 100% on all of those, congratulations. Some of those were pretty tough. Okay. If you missed any, you got a chance to redeem yourself, okay? Again, remember, always name the X first and then the Y. So for E, you're going to go to the right in between the 4 and the 6, so that's 5. And then down in between 8 and 10, so that would be -9. F is over the same, but this time down -4. G went all the way over, 10 over, and up to 4. Okay, H is right here. It didn't move over anything, and it didn't move up anything, so it's directly at the origin, 0, 0. Okay, I is right there, so between the 2 and the 4, that's 3, and up to 4. J over here. So it went to the left in between the 2 and the 4, so that's -3. And down, all the way down to -10. Okay, K, over here. So that went in between the 6 and the 8, so that should be -7, and then up 2. L over here. It also was at -7, but it went down in between the 6 and 8, so -7. M over here went all the way to the right, 10, and up 1, 2. And N went to the left in between 2 and 4, so 1, 2, 3, -3, and down all the way to -8. All right. So now you've both graphed points yourself and then labeled when they graph them, you gave the coordinate value. They also might ask you to please state the quadrant or axis that each point lies in, or state the location that's asking you to give the quadrant. So what I do is I just do a quick little sketch up here. And remember, follow the C for coordinate plane. So there's 1. When you draw a C, it goes like this, right? So 1, 2, 3, and 4. So C for coordinate plane. So I drew myself a little sketch so I can quickly identify which quadrant's what. And then I just kind of quickly draw each one. So I went left 2, up 1. And what quadrant is that? It's 2. Okay, I go left 3 and then down 2. And this quadrant is 3. Okay, if you got the hang of it already, why don't you go ahead and pause the video, try them, and then unpause it and come back. This one, you're going to go right 3, now that you're back with us, and up 1. Which quadrant is this? 1. You go left 3, up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There you go. That's in quadrant 2. Over 1, up nothing is right there. This isn't in any quadrant. It's between quadrants 1 and 4. It's actually directly on the x-axis. This one goes left 5, up 5, even if it's not exact, like just whatever. Do like it goes this way and then up. So it's somewhere in the second quadrant. Okay, this one you're going to go right some and then down some. What quadrant is this? The 4th. You're going to go to the right some and up some. There you go. That's quadrant 1. Left some, up some. That is in quadrant 2. To the right and then up nothing. So this is on the x-axis again. This one is to the right and then down. So that is quadrant 4. And then to the right and up nothing. That is the x-axis again. Who can predict, because we didn't do any that were on the y-axis. So in order for it to be on this axis, what would a coordinate point have to look like? Well, basically, it could be any number at the beginning, but the second number would have to be 0, do you think? No, because that's what this was, right? And that was on the x-axis, so that's not right. What do you think to be on the y-axis? Okay, if you said it had to be 0 first, because it can't go over anything, right? It has to stay right here in this direction. And then it could go up or down anything. So if it was 0 and then up some number, sure, that's still on the y-axis. Or if it went over nothing and down some number, then that would still be on the y-axis. So this could be any number you want, positive or negative, but the first number needs to be 0 if you want it to be on the y-axis. Little trick there. Okay, and then you wouldn't get any of these types of questions unless maybe SBAC. If they wanted to state the coordinate of the endpoints of a line segment just means it has an endpoint, on either end. That's a line segment. A line goes in either direction, so it has arrows at the end. But a segment means it has 2 endpoints. So it's a line segment that intersects the y-axis. So the vertical axis is intersected. You could have some diagonal number with like any negative number, or any positive number at the other end, or going this way, okay? Or you could have, like this is a line segment that would work if it was -2, up 2, over 2, up 2. Like there's so many possibilities. All of these line segments intersect the y-axis. This one says, state the coordinates of the endpoints of a line segment that is not parallel to either axis, and it doesn't intersect either axis. So parallel is like this one and this one. This is parallel to the x-axis. This is parallel to the x-axis. And it also doesn't want it to be parallel to the y-axis either. So a line going like this, it doesn't want one of those. So it needs to be diagonal of some sort. And it also doesn't want it to intersect an axis. So that means it needs to be confined within one single quadrant. So it could be a diagonal here, some diagonal line here, a diagonal line in this quadrant, or diagonal line in that quadrant. And then that would satisfy those conditions. So as long as you give 2 endpoints that would produce something that stays within a quadrant and creates a diagonal line, so it's not parallel to the x-axis or vertical and parallel to the y-axis, then that would satisfy this one. Again, 9 and 10 are super tough. It probably wouldn't show up on one of our quizzes or tests. Maybe a hard SBAC type question, but meh. If you mastered 8 and above, that's as tough as we would go. Okay. And if you did from here and above, if you did all of those, congratulations, my little mathematicians, you have mastered the coordinate plane.